Mike 7. Apply an occlusive dressing and perform a needle chest decompression. Task. Treat a chest wound and tension pneumothorax. Condition. You are a member of a team on a combat patrol that has come under small arms fire in a non-Seabird environment. You witness your teammate in the open receive a gunshot wound to the upper body. Your teammate was able to move to you and is responsive. You are behind cover, not under hostile fire, and your teammate have established a security perimeter. You must begin treatment while waiting on medical personnel to arrive. The injured soldier is alert and complaining of difficult breathing. Another soldier is helping you finish the casualty assessment and is obtaining other vital signs. Standards. Perform all tasks to standards in sequence within 10 minutes without causing further injury. Stations requirement. A simulated casualty, mannequin with all extremity and ribs that can be seen or felt in a full combat uniform per unit SOP including weapon, and a fully packed improvised IFAC. You do not have a mannequin here with extremities, so you will have a demonstrator that will substitute in for the extremities. Casualty must have 2 simulated gunshot wounds to the upper body, 1 on the front entry and 1 on the back for the exit wound. A TCC card with the administrative data already filled out, alcohol pens, and eraser. A basic life support bag with occlusive dressing and or materials with which to improvise. You will be given a CLS bag, but you do not need to improvise. The CLS bag is there for the pulse oximeter device and alcohol swabs. May cover the screen, and you will have a pulsimeter with the screen cover, and you will get your vital signs from. And you will provide the candidate or ensure the candidate has a watch with a correct date and time. Step 1. Apply occlusive dressing. First thing you're going to do is you're going to expose the injury. Step Bravo, you're going to apply an occlusive dressing to the entry wound. Upon full expiration, cover the wound with large occlusive material dressing covering the first wound encountered. Ensure the material extends 2 inches beyond the edge of the wound and tape all 4 sides of the dressing. You do not need to worry about that because you're going to get a dressing with adhesives already. So as you see, you're going to go ahead and put that over the wound. For Charlie, you're going to go ahead and lock the casualty on an unaffected side to examine the back for an exit wound. So now you're going to go ahead and do the same thing as in part Bravo, where you're going to go ahead and clean the wound and you're going to go ahead and apply an occlusive dressing. So now you're going to go ahead and apply the adhesive dressing the same way as in step Bravo. So now you're going to go ahead and verify if there is a presence of tension pneumothorax by checking for at least 3 of the indications below. Okay, first thing you're going to go ahead and question the casualty if he has difficult breathing, if he has any pain in the affected area, or if he's coughing out blood, and observe signs of progressive respiratory distress.
Are you having a hard time breathing? Does this side hurt?
After the candidate has asked those questions, the grader will say, casualty is gasping for air and has pain on the wound side. The casualty also has poor respiration rate and the abdomen is mildly distant. Casualty does not have tracheal deviation but has mild jugular distension. While you were checking, assessing the casualty, you also felt a crackling sensation on the casualty's chest. So now you're going to go ahead and check for unilateral distension and chest expansion. Step 1, you're going to place one hand on the affected side. Step 2, you're going to place the other hand on the unaffected side. And then you're going to go ahead and observe height of each of the chest rise and fall. Determine if the height of the hand of the affected side is greater during expiration than the height on the hand on the unaffected side. At this point, the grader will go ahead and say the hand on the unaffected side is higher than the other, and is also the patient's skin has also turned bluish skin color. So the grader will go ahead and say you observe mild cyanosis. And the grader will also tell you that you observe 2 signs of shock where you're hyperventilating and your skin is turning bluish white. So now now that you've determined that the patient has pneumothorax, you're gonna go ahead and perform a needle decompression. First, you're gonna locate the incision site. Locate the second intercostal space between the second and third rib at the mid-clavicular line, approximately in line with the nipple on the affected side of the patient's chest. Say that again. Thoroughly cleanse a 3 to 4 inch area around the insertion site. Begin in the center and work outward using a circular motion. Then you're going to go ahead and apply a commercial needle decompression kit according to the manufacturer's instructions, as so. So you're going to go ahead and place the needle tip bevel up on the insertion site. Second intercostal space, mid-clavicular line. Lower the proximal end of the needle to permit the tip to enter to the skin above the third rib margin. Firmly insert the needle into the skin over the third rib until the pleura has been penetrated and is evident, feeling a pop as needle enters the pleural space. At this point, you're gonna go ahead and feel a pop, and the grader will tell you that you've heard a pop and that the air is coming out. At this point, you're gonna go ahead and remove the needle and discard per unit SOP. Okay, now you're gonna go ahead and you can skip step 7 because according to this catheter, it works as a one-way valve. So you do not need to makeshift a makeshift valve. All right. So now all you have to do is secure the catheter by placing a small strip of tape. Okay, as I said, we don't have a mannequin with extremities, so we're gonna go ahead and perform the. We're gonna measure the pulse and the O2 saturation on a soldier. So step alpha, you're gonna go ahead and wipe the middle finger with an alcohol tip. So now we're gonna go ahead and measure the pulse and O2 saturation. First, you're gonna go ahead and wipe the middle finger or the index finger. You're gonna go ahead and wipe it down with alcohol. Then you're gonna go ahead and place the pulse oximeter. So once you have put the pulse oximeter, you're gonna go ahead and document that on your TCCC card. You're gonna go ahead and read the O2, which is gonna be the oxygen saturation, which is 58. And a pulse rate of 105. Once you have gotten the pulse rate and his oxygen saturation, you're gonna go ahead and put that information on the TCCC card. Everything should be already pre-filled. You're gonna go ahead and put the oxygen saturation over here, which was 58. And his pulse rate was 105, and you're gonna go ahead and also put in the time. For step 2, you're gonna go ahead and write the date and time. And you're gonna go ahead and write the date in the format. Now you're gonna go ahead and write down the mechanism of injury, which is a gunshot wound. On the casualty card, you will also mark where the casualty was hurt. You're gonna mark it with an X. After that, you're gonna go ahead and fill out the AFPU portion, which is for alert, verbal, painful, unresponsive. And you're gonna go ahead and write alert as he's still awake. After that, you're gonna go ahead and put in the evacuation category, which is going to be urgent. Then you're gonna go to the back of the card. And you're also going to mark the back of the card for urgent for evacuation category. After you have written down the evacuation category, you're gonna go ahead and fill out only Charlie and Bravo on the CTT card. You're gonna go ahead and mark what procedures you use, what treatments you used on the patient. You're gonna go ahead and write down dresser pressing, and you also did a needle decompression. And for the last part, you're gonna go ahead and fill in your first responder and your last four. And this completes your task for Mike 7.